How does it feel to wind down from the CCMAs?
Oh my gosh, it was like such a crazy weekend. It was so much fun and it was great getting to meet you in person before.
Yes.
Yeah, it was craziness, but it's nice now to just like breathe a little and sleep. So yeah.
Do you feel though, once you're done such an event like that or getting off stage, you need like a day or two just to recuperate and get your energy back?
Yeah, for sure. I'm like just because it's like go, go, go all the time, right? And so I get very overwhelmed by especially, big weekends like that. So I definitely like need the time just to like relax and take time for myself, read some books, drink some tea.
Sure. Honey with the tea?
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, that's awesome. You're not from Calgary, are you?
No, I'm from Edmonton, so
Edmonton.
not too far,
Not
but
too
yeah.
far. Yeah. So headed back home and good to be back home in Edmonton.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's really nice. Got to see my little doggy, so
Oh,
that was fun and yeah.
what's her name or his name?
Her name's Ella. She's a little morky and she's like a little ball of energy, so
I love it.
yeah.
That's amazing. Did you go to a few of the venues such as King Eddie or
Yeah,
Ricky's
yeah.
12 on 12? Yeah.
I went to the King Eddie for I think it was like a Sony after party with like Tim and the Glory Boys, so that was pretty fun. And Eddie's such a cool venue too. It's just like a kind of staple live music venue in Calgary. So yeah, and then the National Music Center for that
Oh,
like
cool.
reception there, that was really cool. And it's just neat to see all the musicians and stuff like put up throughout there. And yeah, a lot of cool places down there for music, which is sweet.
For sure. Are you proud of the community that you're a part of?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what's like really cool, especially about I think Alberta and then like the Canadian country music scene in general is everybody's so like welcoming and stuff. And I started singing when I was like 9 and then I started to get into these events more when I was like 11. So everyone has always welcomed me with like open arms and has been, so kind and it's just great to get to meet everybody and see everyone's journeys and everything. And so yeah, I feel pretty lucky to be here and to have the support.
So 9 years old, you started singing. Did you know country was the genre you wanted to be in?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because I think I started, I mean, I was a big Taylor Swift fan, so I love Taylor Swift, but I didn't know that was country when she started out. And then like my mom listened to like Shania Twain and Martina McBride, and then a lot of like pop music, and my dad listened to like AC/DC and everything growing up. So I had like quite like the different music playing around in the house all the time. But it wasn't until like I went to Big Valley Jamboree. I think I
Oh,
was 9, and I of course I knew Taylor Swift, but I didn't really listen to country a whole lot. And the stuff I was writing, was fitting into country. I just didn't really know that's what it was yet. And then when I went to Big Valley, it was like, what are these sounds? What are all these things? And I just fell in love with it, and then it stuck. So
I love it. Do you still get stage fright, or since you've been doing it from 9 years old, has it gotten better and you're okay now with all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. It depends on the event, or it depends on the thing because sometimes I get like pretty nervous for like stuff like anthems and stuff like that because everybody knows the anthem. So if you screw up the anthem, then that's pretty scary. But other than that, I feel like I get nervous like 5 minutes before I go on, and then once I go on, it's like everything kind of just washes away and the stage is where I feel most at home. So yeah, I feel kind of lucky that I just feel like at home on stage because I know it's different for every artist,
Oh, for sure.
so
No, that's amazing. You were nominated at the CCMAs. What was that feeling like? I mean, your journey as a whole, it's impressive. You're so young, you're already where you want to be, but there's so much more potential.
oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I was not expecting even a nomination, and so I was just so excited because I've been attending the CCMA since I was 14. And I always look at all just the amazing artists, and I'm always so inspired. And so, yeah, when I found out about the nominations, like my mom came down like screaming. We thought somebody had like died. It
Oh
was
my
like this
God.
whole thing. So I was just so excited to just be, mentioned alongside all
Hmm.
those incredible artists, and to get to go and experience everything from, this time as a nominee, because
Right.
before I've always just kind of experienced it a little bit as a music fan and done some showcases, but I gotta go behind the scenes this year, which was really cool.
Oh, for sure. And that was a packed arena, wasn't it? That stadium,
Oh my
the
gosh.
dome.
Yeah. It was crazy how much people were in there. I know it was really cool. That was one of the things I was looking most forward to, was just seeing what the arena looked like with all the people in it that day. So
Did you? So, how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 20.
You're 20. Okay. So, in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, I'd like to see myself like by then have like an album, maybe
Yeah.
another album, like one or two out, and I'd love to just be like touring,
Mhm.
not just in Canada but internationally. Because I also love to travel, so I think music and traveling kind of go hand in hand. So I'd love to be playing in places like Europe or Australia and the US, and then just writing a whole lot, and maybe have like a couple more sync cuts, because I'd really love to have some songs, like original songs in movies and
Mhm.
TV shows and stuff like that. So, but it's hard to say. I mean, who knows with the world? I mean, I also didn't think there was going to be like a pandemic that would
Yeah.
take everything away for 2 years. So, but yeah, I mean, that would be the hope in another 5 years for sure.
Are you playing at various venues or pubs or local places in Edmonton or around the towns across Alberta?
Yeah, this summer was super busy, which was
Yeah.
really nice, because it went from like, again, pandemic and everything being so slow to then like 0 to 100.
Right.
So yeah, I got to play at a lot of festivals around, like especially in some smaller towns too that I've never played in before, and around Alberta. So the band and I were pretty busy this summer. Like almost every weekend we had a show, but I would prefer being super busy than having no shows to play. So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Where do you get your inspiration from for your songs and when you're writing? Where does that come from?
Yeah, it's kind of different for me every time. Sometimes ideas just kind of like pop into my head, and then I have to write it down, otherwise I know I'll
Yeah.
forget it. But I've been very inspired, like again, Taylor Swift, Keith Urban, Dolly Parton. And so I think like listening to their music has, really inspired me along the way, and also just being inspired by like life events, or just really paying attention to like not only what's happening in my life, but like even my friends' lives or
Mhm.
family's lives. And I kind of draw inspiration a lot from other people, and their experiences too.
Wow, that's amazing. Has there been some Canadian artists that you've looked up to and said, wow, I like little bits of that person, such as energy or aura or how they perform or they move their leg a certain way, and I like that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Lindsay Ell and Tennille Towns are like
Oh,
two
yeah.
huge. Yeah, I mean, they're incredible, and they're also just like the nicest people, and they're such trailblazers. Like Tennille, and her writing, I think, is like so refreshing, and something like that the Canadian country music industry hasn't seen in such a long time. It was just those like raw emotional stories.
Mm,
And then also being on radio too, because I know her stuff's a little bit different from what you'd normally hear on radio. So I think her music is like so special. And then Lindsay Al's like this guitar goddess. She also is an incredible writer and performer. I'm also like a big fan of James Barker Band. I've
oh,
I've
yeah.
always wanted to see them. I love their songs. Like, I think they just release hit after hit, but I got to see them live, for one of the first times this summer, and like incredible show. So it's so cool. Like in Canada, we have such amazing artists doing incredible things, and so I definitely look up to all of them and try and just see like, okay, yeah, like paying attention to the little things that they do, and kind of like, wondering how you can incorporate that into your own artistry. And but yeah, we're pretty lucky in Canada to have some great artists to look up to.
What do you do to keep your nerves calm when you go on stage?
Oh yeah, that's a hard one because yeah, you never know if the nerves are gonna sneak up on you. But one thing that's really helped me that my vocal coach has helped me out with is just doing some like breathing exercises before I go on. So I think it's like actually, and a lot of like runners or people will do that too to slow down your heart rate. But like it's like breathe in for like 5 and then exhale for 7 and kind of keep making it higher. So that's helped. And then also just like, I don't know, kind of just like the thought of just, I mean, you want to obviously go out and do your best, but at the end of the day, like if you screw up, people aren't going to be like, holding you
Mhm.
against it for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
being like, oh, like most people probably won't even remember or won't even notice sometimes. So I think just knowing like audiences are usually pretty forgiving and people are forgiving and just to go out there and have fun because that's, the main part of it. But yeah.
If you had to look at somebody that's 9 years old, 11 years old, that wants to do what you did and follow in your footsteps, what are some lessons that you could pass on to the next generation?
Oh man. I'd probably say to just keep going and persevere because I feel like the music industry is a very hard industry, but it's can be so also rewarding. And I had a hard time, really starting out. And as I got more serious, it was harder for me because a lot of people were like, "Well, music isn't a real career," or a lot of people doubt music, and so I think a lot of people fall out of it because they start to believe the
Right.
naysayers and stuff like that. And so I feel like, yeah, it's a game of hard working and all of that too, but it's also kind of a game of perseverance. And if you love music, I think that's the most important thing. Like if you have a love and passion for music itself and you never know where your path is going to lead, but if you stick to that passion and you persevere, then I think things will work out because it just, the longer you're in it, I believe that the more things can happen. So,
You just got to show up, right? Knock
yeah.
on doors. One of them will open.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true.
And if you don't do it, it's a guaranteed no, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so it's so true because yeah, you never know. So and yeah, and it's fun just to see where the journey will take you.
Do you go visit other local artists and vice versa? Do they come to your shows? Especially in Edmonton, is it very supportive there?
Yeah, it's so supportive. It's really nice too because a lot of like my musician friends I've
Hmm.
grown up with and we've all kind of we've started from doing the little tiny shows in the middle of nowhere together and so it's really nice to have that support especially because music can be such like an isolating sometimes experience because you're not with like a team or you don't have a sport it's not like a sports team where you have other people to celebrate the wins and the losses so it can feel sometimes like it's all on you so I feel like that's really special when you have those few other artists or musicians because they understand because
Hmm.
they've been through it too. So yeah, very lucky that not just Edmonton, but Alberta, there's like so much support and amazing people. So
How was playing at the Met?
the
Or
Met.
did you play in Calgary?
I
It was
did.
not the Met. It was somewhere. I can't
Oh, the
remember.
Palace.
There we
The
go.
Palace. Yes,
I'm
yeah.
like the Met.
I
Yeah.
was like the Met. The first thing that came to my mind was like the Met Gala, and I was like, what?
Wrong person, dude. Wrong person. God
Yeah.
damn it.
No, the palace is really
Yeah.
cool. I've never been in there before. It was pretty sweet. It was yeah, it was lots of people in there, and it was cool with all the TV screens and everything. I
It's
thought
such
it
a
was,
historic place as well. So
yeah, I've heard that. I
um,
heard it used to be like the Flames or something,
Flame
and
Central, and before that, it used to be called the
wow,
Palace way back in the day. So they brought it back as a
goodness.
throwback, and that's why it's got that vibe to it.
Yeah,
The stage, how it's set up, and then up top you see the balconies.
yeah. It's pretty sweet and it's cool. It was yeah, you got lots of people in there for
Oh
sure.
yeah. No, that's amazing. For the rest of the year, do you have any exciting shows, any events coming up?
Yeah, so I actually have a show coming up on November 19th, the Stampede City Sessions. which I'm really excited about because that's it's also it's a show you can attend, but it's also something that will be broadcasted on PBS
Okay.
throughout Canada and then also in some places in the States too, which is really cool. So Aaron Goodvin's on that night, and yeah, just lots of shows, especially in the new year. I have some fun announcements coming up for
Oh,
some
that's
shows,
exciting.
so. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's so nice to have things to look forward to and to play live again after 2 years of
Oh
nothing.
my God, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Zoom playing is one thing, but like being there live and there's
Oh,
something about an
yeah.
energy.
There really is, and I'm the type of person too that really feeds off of a crowd. Like if a crowd's excited, then I'm even more excited. But it was funny too. Like I when I had my first show last summer after all these Zoom shows, I
Hmm.
was like, oh right, like I have to, because you get so used to just sitting here, right? And you're
Yeah.
just, you're smiling to a camera, but it's not a whole bunch of people. So I was like, oh wait, I have to like perform for all these people.
Nice.
It's different than just sitting in your basement and chucking along. So.
I love it. For the Canadian podcast, I was wondering, could you sing a little bit of the anthem?
Okay, sure. Now,
And
after I just said the anthem
I
was
know that's why I said that. And I was like, oh,
the most
perfect.
nerve-wracking thing. Okay.
Huh? You had your honey and tea, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts, we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
You need like almost the white flags going up.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the most nerve-wracking thing, I swear.
So where have you sang it? Where it's been pretty nerve-wracking because that's like you said, it's the anthem.
Yeah, I sang it. I got to sing at the Edmonton S. Well, I guess now the Edmonton Elks game
Alex, yeah.
one year, and that was like 44,000 people. So that was so much fun, but it was like I remember being so nervous before that, and I've gotten the chance to sing it at the CFR. But I had one show, or it wasn't even a show. It was like one of the very first performances I've ever had when I was like 9, and I sang it for my sister's gymnastics competition and I forgot the words, and everyone had to sing it along with me, and then I've never forgotten that moment, and it's just like, yeah, yeah, so I usually don't do the
Does
anthem.
that ever happen though when you're like performing and all of a sudden you forgot the words of what you're saying because you maybe just locked eyes with somebody and you're just like blanks.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's happened a lot, or sometimes I'll just like, if it's your own songs, it's okay because I feel like people don't know as much, or like I'll make up words that sometimes just end up fitting, and so then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, nobody even noticed. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta go to that
Mhm.
guitar solo a little early because you don't know what the next verse is, and but it's scary though when it happens. It's like your brain just goes blank. I mean everyone's kind of had, I feel like, that experience where you're like, oh shoot, what is that? Like me doing the anthem earlier. So
Oh, that was amazing. Well, thank you for that.
thank you.
I like how you're so on command. You're like, all right, let's go. You're like
Yeah,
a born performer.
I don't know. I was like, all right.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So, any new singles coming out, or where can people follow you?
Yeah, so I've been working a lot on new music. So that'll be coming really soon, and people can follow me on all social media at That's Me Hailey B, or my TikTok at Hailey B114.
Are you a big fan of TikTok?
Oh yes, very big fan of TikTok.
I feel like the engagement is way better on TikTok than Instagram these days.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like I'm able to reach so many more people on TikTok and people from like all over the world, which is really cool. So,
Holy smokes.
yeah.
And you were a verified Instagram account, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that happen? Was it like a label that did it for you, a PR company?
Yeah, it was like a social media company that kind of helped me
Yeah.
get verified, but it's been a very long process and I've been applying for years. So,
It is. Yeah.
yeah, it's so hard and there's like no right way of like
No.
doing it. So, yeah, I lucked out. I finally
Finally.
code. Yeah, but it's taken a bit.
Exactly. When your account's verified, do you think it helps gain notoriety and attention on
I
social
think
media? Yeah.
so, yeah. That's like one thing, like it's, I think some people are like, oh, it's a blue check mark and whatever. But for me it's more just kind of as a thing to show, that what I'm doing is
Real.
legit, I guess, in a
Yeah.
way. And also just kind of, yeah, like when you're reaching out to other creators and stuff too, people are just like more likely to see it if they have like a check mark. And so, yeah, I think it definitely helps. And yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Do you ever get self-conscious where it's, you're putting yourself out there, your artwork out there, yourself, especially as a singer. It's a different ball game. Do you
Hmm.
ever get nervous? What is it? The fear of failure, fear of judgment, and what do you say to yourself to remain in a positive state? Because oftentimes, that little voice in our head can tell us, "Oh, you're not good enough," or "No, not today, Haley." Right? So
Yeah.
got to
Oh,
push
yeah.
through those barriers.
It's hard too because music again you can second guess almost everything you're doing, and it's hard because so much of like if a song doesn't get as many streams as you'd hope it would, you kind of like, well, what did I do wrong? Or like,
Mhm.
and sometimes it just comes down to even just the time when you release the song, or it doesn't even have anything to do with you, but I feel like you can always pick apart all these things. Or even in my live show, like I'll be like, oh, I messed up that vocal run, or I forgot the words on this part. And so it's so easy to get trapped and in all the little things, but those are also the opportunities for you to grow. And I think there's, failure is a good thing because you can look back and be like, okay, well, that didn't work, how can I move on? But you almost have to have some blinders on a little bit and just stay focused on what are your goals as an artist and what do you want to stand for. Because if you get caught up in all the little things all the time, it can be pretty hard. And
Mhm.
yeah, and that's not about the music anymore, right? It just ends up
Exactly.
being
Yeah.
too picky about everything else. So
Yeah. And I think, you'll never reach perfection.
yeah,
It's about progress every day, isn't it?
so true. Yeah, I don't know, especially music. There's
Yeah.
no, I mean, and in life too. Like humans aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. So why should we expect that from artists or anything like that? Like obviously we want to give a good job, but nobody's gonna be 100% all the time. So.
Yeah. Have you had a funny or interesting fan experience?
Funny or interesting fan experience. Well, this was kind of like a cool experience
Yeah.
I actually just had this weekend. There's these this couple that was in the audience. I was performing at the Country Music Alberta showcase, and some people were like, "You need to talk to this couple that are were watching you. They want to say hi." So I was like, okay. So I finished the show and I go to talk to these couples, and they're like, oh my gosh, they had a British accent, and they're like, we're from the UK, and we heard your song, wanted you to. And they were just there just to visit. Like they weren't there because of the CCMAs.
Right.
They just happened to be in that bar. They're like, we listen to that song all the time back in the UK. And I was like, "Wait, like really? Are you like serious?" And they're like, "No, like we all the time, like and we just happened to see you here at this bar." And so that was like such a really cool and
Yeah.
special moment for me because I was like, "Wow, like it's one thing to see like you have how many listeners in the UK or the US,
Hmm.
but it's another thing to talk to somebody that has listened to it and you're like you're on a completely different part of the world and you've heard the song. So that was really special and really cool. And now I have to go to the UK, I guess. So
Absolutely. What was
yeah.
it like signing your first autograph?
Oh man, my first autograph. I'm trying to think back to
It
what
must
it
be cool though. What an experience, right? You're like, really? All right.
Yeah, it's cool actually. And some like I performed at some schools and stuff, and I'm always surprised by the amount of kids that are like wanting autographs, and I'm like, really? Like from me? Because I don't know, I just don't like. So it's pretty sweet and it's pretty cool to just see how my music's like impacted somebody that much that they want to
Mhm.
have some sort of souvenir,
Oh, for
like
sure. Yeah.
so yeah, that's really cool.
Where are some of the your favorite places that you've traveled? And obviously, you want to go to Australia and Europe. Is there certain places in Europe you would like to play in?
Oh man. That's a hard question. Well, there's that C to C music festival that
Nice.
has like all the country artists come over. So that would be really cool to come go and do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like specific places. I mean, if
Like
I'm
in terms of cities, would you want to go to Paris? Would you want to go to London?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
what?
for sure. Paris and London would be incredible, and I have some friends and stuff down there too, so I feel like it would
Love
just
it.
be fun to visit all those
Yeah.
places. And also, I'm a big tea drinker, and that's like the perfect place to have tea and
Oh,
like an
totally.
afternoon snack. So, yeah, definitely there. Sydney, Australia would be really cool.
Have you been to Nashville?
I have, yes, yeah, I love
My
it.
sister goes tomorrow with her husband, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay, I gotta check it
cool.
out one day.
Oh yeah, you've never been?
No.
Oh, you have to go. It's so cool. There's like so much to see and like I don't there's always stuff going on. There's like never nothing going on. So
Would you say it's like Alberta in a way, or a totally different vibe?
oh totally. Like
Yeah.
Edmonton actually reminds me like especially the landscape reminds me very similar to Nashville. It's just like almost if Nashville was like or Edmonton was like a lot hotter and like a little more humid.
Right.
And
Okay.
then just like more stuff kind of going on, like White Ave on
Yeah.
steroids kind of thing. So,
I
yeah.
love it. Cool. Well, thank you again, Haley, for today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is great.